Welcome to Think Like a Pancreas, the podcast. Our goal is to keep you informed, inspired, and a little entertained on all things diabetes. The information contained in the program is based on the experience and opinions of the Integrated Diabetes Services clinical team. Since this is a very individualized condition, please check with your healthcare provider before implementing any of the weird stuff we may happen to share with you today. My name is Gary Scheiner. I'm owner and clinical director of Integrated Diabetes Services. And today we got something a little special for you. Let me see if I can get this. Today is
oh wow,
the Dana Roseman Show.
Amazing. And you picked close to my favorite color. It's purple-ish, so I love it.
It's rose-ish. I love this
music. Okay. Well, and you probably don't know this about me, but my maiden name was Pinker. So between Pinker and Roseman, I've got the colors. Yeah.
There you go. Wonderful. All right. So you already know a little bit about Dana. So Dana is our Director of Technology and Applied Research at Integrated Diabetes. And she's a dietitian by trade. So she has really expanded on her skill set for our patients' benefit. So Dana, tell us a little bit about your professional background. Where are you coming from?
Well, I actually started with a master's in public health. I was doing kind of, big population work in smoking cessation. I started a school-based health clinic. And then as my diabetes management became a little bit more specified for me as I was planning pregnancies, I really wanted to do more diabetes management one-on-one and kind of share my expertise. I always say my diabetes is kind of me becoming a diabetes educator is a silver lining of my diabetes. And so I went back to school and became a registered dietitian and then a certified care and education specialist. And I have a certificate in child and adult obesity practices. And just that's my kind of start to doing what I love.
Okay. And you've had diabetes for how long now?
28 years.
Wow. Okay. So your pregnancies were during diabetes.
Yes. And it was, another full-time job on top of my full-time job. But I do remember, and you've had diabetes a long time too. And back then things were really different and practices were really different. I mean, I think my OB and my endocrinologist was like, yeah, just have that one child and kind of check that off your list. And if there's anything to know about me, it's tell me that I can't do it. And I am for sure going to do it. Mm-hmm. And so much to my family's chagrin on other things, not necessarily diabetes related, but I did go ahead and have 3 beautiful children, 3 pregnancies successfully, not without a lot of hard work, but definitely worth it in the payoff.
Okay. What are the kids doing now?
Oh my God, you're not going to believe it. My older 2 kids are leaving for Israel this morning. They are going to do birthright. And so those 2 graduated college, they're working, they're successful adults. And then my baby just graduated high school and leaving the nest in a couple of weeks. But I'm talking to you right now from the middle of the Rocky Mountains. We are doing a little bit of a remote working on top of our remote working. And so I am having lots of opportunity to do the things I love, which is go outside and hike and rock climb and do all the active stuff that people are surprised that I do.
Did I tell you what happened last time I went to Colorado? It was
what?
Barbara Davis does these educational programs in Keystone. So flew out for that and was enjoying the meeting. We got some time off and I rented a bike. I love biking and I decided I'm just going to go for a ride and rode up into the mountains. And there was a drought taking place at the time. So there was this risk of wildfires. Well, the drought ended while I was up in the mountains and it didn't come down in the form of rain. It came down in the size of golf ball size hail.
Mm-hmm.
There is nothing worse than getting caught outdoors on a bike, getting hit by golf ball size hail. I had bruises.
Oh my gosh.
All over.
You needed a new helmet after that.
Yeah. And literally I could have cracked my
Yeah.
I took refuge just under a tree to try to get away from the golf balls falling.
You and the bears were kind of hanging out together?
Yeah, yeah. We were all kind of huddling together, trying to keep ourselves safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great place otherwise, unless the weather decides to
Yeah.
attack. Now, when you
Summers are
first
magical.
joined our team at Integrated Diabetes, we were mostly having you work with people on nutrition stuff because that was, your degree and all. But it's really expanded. Can you tell everybody a little bit about how that's grown?
Well, I think that I still do practice a couple of days a week in clinic in an endocrine center, and so I have a lot of experience with people who have kind of other health conditions in the endocrinology umbrella: thyroid disease, osteoporosis, metabolic disease. And so I have the opportunity to do a lot more than just nutrition. A lot of people I work with are on what we consider adjunct therapy, to help not only their diabetes, but maybe their insulin sensitivity. And so I have a really good basis of understanding for that. I also work a lot with teens that are transitioning to college, a lot of kids that are trying to get more independent, maybe work with them to own their diabetes management a little bit more. And then I really love still to work with folks that are active, doing, sports, training for things. I kind of love to put my own personal experience into that to help people kind of go in a positive direction. And then I also do the Elevate Your Expertise program for healthcare professionals who come to Integrated Diabetes who want to kind of up their game. Yeah, that's it. And so that's kind of a fun opportunity to talk to providers who I'm always so impressed with, who maybe don't have a team like we are so fortunate to have, to work with people who we can, share and learn from, and someone who maybe doesn't have that in their practice. And so they come to us and they learn a little bit more about diabetes technology, but specifically how to help their patients get the most out of that technology. And so that's really a fun aspect.
Are there any athletic events or achievements that you've had that are noteworthy?
A lot. I don't sit still very well. And so every day I like to get something. But in terms of like a specific race that I'm training for, I don't have that right now. I usually keep an ongoing training program so that I can kind of do what I want to do. I'm going to do a bunch of 10-mile hikes while we're up here, long distance activities, but I'm doing that on my own, not necessarily races. Every year I do a several-day hiking trip with a dear friend of mine, and we go out in kind of a camping trip, and it's usually a 4 or 5 day trip that we hit a lot of elevation, and I'll train for that because we're going to do that in October. But I think I sadly used to do marathons, half marathons. One of my very favorite half marathons was at the base of Vail Mountain to the top of Vail Mountain. I used to do triathlons, but my back has really crapped out as a former competitive figure skater. I don't know if you know that about me, but my back has sadly not been my friend the past couple of years. So I'm no longer running, but I'm finding other things to do that kind of scratch that itch.
Oh, you're on thin ice, Roseman.
I know that is such a bad fun, but yeah, I would love to get back on the ice as well. So I don't know, working on it.
I know about the injuries. I still play basketball, and I'm 58, but I'm able to keep up with guys half my age pretty well. Some older, some younger, but I don't have the quickness anymore, but I got the stamina and I can shoot well,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
I did a couple of 100-mile bike rides. That's more my speed now. I can go slow and steady wins the race kind of thing.
Yeah.
So my goal in life is to be able to at least make a foul shot when I'm 100.
Well, and mine is to keep doing the hiking and travel and do all the things that I want to do with my kids, skiing in the winter and hiking in the summer. So yeah, I want to be able to not slow them down, and I want them to have to keep up with me.
Yeah. We want to make sure all of our clients can meet their goals and do what they want to do as they're aging as well. What are some of the
Yeah.
specific services that you're offering to integrated diabetes services clients?
Well, I would say just along those lines that I think a lot of our clients come to us and diabetes is just really hard and it prevents them from doing things that they want to do. And so I think taking a wide lens and really kind of evaluating how they're managing their diabetes is really the first step, because if something is so burdensome that they can't think about doing the things they love, eating out, I have a lot of patients that sometimes come and say, I just don't eat out anymore. And I used to love that. Well, that's just okay. That's not acceptable, you know? I think one of my main goals with every person that I talk to is that diabetes takes a complete backseat and it is not a front and center issue in their life. And so I don't know if that really answers your question, but that's definitely how I approach it.
Most of the people afraid to eat out and live normal lives have just read Dr. Bernstein's book and think that, if I eat carbs, I'm going to shrivel up and die. And
right.
like to help people live more normal lives, as close as a normal life as you can get as somebody with diabetes.
Yeah. Well, and something that we have such a nice opportunity to is really know the people that we work with and really dive into their goals and hopes and dreams and what they want to achieve. I don't ever want diabetes to hold somebody back from what they want to do, but someone goes to their endocrinologist's office and their 15-minute appointment, all they're told is, watch your carbs and improve your blood sugars. Those are not action items. Those are, hopes and dreams that can't be achievable without action.
Yeah. I got clients that are eating 250, 300, 350 grams of carb a day and managing really well. They need that for energy purposes. They're very active. I eat a lot of carbs myself, and usually I'm able to manage the blood sugars pretty well. To me, it's all about its quantity and its timing. If you can.
Well, strategies are everything. And I swear this is going to be on my tombstone one day, but there is nothing spontaneous about diabetes management, right? So if you know that you're going to eat many carbs, or you're going to go be active, you kind of have to prepare. And I think that's where a lot of people, they want to go live their life and not have to prepare, but diabetes gets in the way every single time. And so, coming up with strategies is so key.
Yeah. You've got the master's in public health. You're, the registered dietitian. You've got a lot of both personal and professional experience with physical activity, different forms of sports and exercise. Yet your title here denounces all of that. You're director of technology and applied. You are an avid fan of technology. And I know
Absolutely.
you're trying some new stuff today, I heard.
Yeah, so I've been a long time looper. I think there's not a continuous glucose monitor or insulin pump that I have not used. And I just crave the experience to understand different technologies with diabetes. And so long time looper now with the open source algorithm. I've been looping for coming up on 8 years. So really when it was just newly begun, I think there were 2,000 people globally who were looping when I started. And now there's, over 30,000. But I just started this week using IAPS, which has transitioned to a new name called Trio. And so experimenting with that a little bit. I shouldn't even say experimenting. Learning how to navigate that a little bit with some of my other integrated diabetes colleagues, and having a good time just, kind of exploring that. There's not a lot about diabetes management that is fun, but if we can use new experiences and just new opportunities to learn, I kind of consider that sort of fun in air quotes. So that's what I'm using this week.
You're like
anything that
you're like a fireman who runs into the fire to save people. Most people see these new technologies and they run away screaming. You run in head first and you learn it and absorb it and learn how to use it. It's great because then you can help other people with it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And it definitely has created sometimes with my relationship with healthcare providers in the past, if I felt like I wanted to do something for my diabetes management and that maybe wasn't the best practice, definitely has caused myself to be my own advocate, which I think so many people need to do with the space of type 1 diabetes, just to understand the disease so that they can educate their providers. Had an endocrinologist just say, let's just part ways here, right? Because he wasn't comfortable with what I was doing. And I think me being able to explain to him and educate him left us on really positive terms, but that, yeah, we agreed to kind of go our separate ways.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Now, I think we've been using Loop about the same length of time. And the person who got me engaged with Loop and interested in it was Aaron Kowalski, who's now president of JDRF. Well, it's not JDRF anymore. It's Breakthrough T1D.
Right.
He came to one of our local board meetings. And, because I think we were the only two people there who had type 1 personally. So he was showing it off to me. He said, I could do that. I can give that a try. So yeah, gave it a try.
Aaron was at my house several years ago for a research update we hosted at my house, and he was there. And I cannot remember if he was looping at that time, but I think he must have been, because I think we talked about it.
Yeah. At the time, I think he and I we had to use an old MiniMed pump and the Link signal converter, all this apparatus. Now it's so easy. It beams right into an Omnipod dash, and it's quick.
Well, it's really kind of ironic because the person that really got me motivated to start looping was an Omnipod employee. And of course, at that time, Omnipod wasn't looping or, loop equivalent. So it's kind of funny.
Yeah. All right. So as a dietitian, I got to ask you about what is your favorite food, and don't consider the health quality. What is your?
Oh, I won't.
What is it?
Yeah. Ice cream, any variety of ice cream. Yeah.
Flavor
love it.
You die for? What's the flavor?
I really love any sort of praline caramel kind of, but chocolate's always a go-to.
Okay. Is there a brand or a place near you?
So I'm a Texas girl, and Bluebell ice cream is the top dog. If you've never had Bluebell, then you're missing out. So Bluebell is definitely, you've had Bluebell, right?
I've had Bluebell. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even the plain vanilla is delicious.
When I go to Texas, I got to get my Scheiner beer. That's good.
Yeah.
You don't sound as enthused about the beer as you do about ice cream.
No, I mean, I love beer. Don't get me wrong. Scheiner, I just don't like the box. I like an IPA. That's my desire.
All right. Well, in Philly, we get Yingling lagers.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Now you already gave away you're a Texan and a Dallas person at that. So what's your favorite sports team?
Cowboys. Sorry to say, you and I can still be friends. I understand this is like going to the darkest part of your soul.
Yeah, I know.
I kind of don't understand it. I mean, I do historically, but I am not. I mean, I'm a sports fan, but I am not I wouldn't have a rival. I just don't kind of get into that. But I went to the University of Texas, and there is a big rivalry between University of Texas and Oklahoma University. And so it's always so I will say I'm anti-OU that particular football game weekend.
Okay. I still remember years and years ago when I interviewed you for the position, I always make a pros and cons list.
Right. Cowboys fan was in the con.
The cons list, Cowboys fan. But that's a big con to me, and I would really hope
I hear you. I'm really proud of you for overcoming that. That's a big growth opportunity for you. Well done, Gary.
My wife kind of smacked me in the head and said, "What are you talking about? Just hire
idiot."
Yeah, exactly. That's what happened.
Yeah.
You got a favorite movie?
Ooh, so it's so funny. I love Crazy Stupid Love. I love that movie. I could stop and watch it at any moment. It's not excellent cinema. It is not the most amazing storyline. I do tend to like huge productions, historical fiction. I love that. We just, as a family, rewatched all of Game of Thrones, all 70 hours of TV, and I cannot tell you how happy it made me. I don't know if you're a fan or not, but I'm trying to think of other movies that I love. I haven't been asked that question in a long time. But yeah, I could stop that movie and watch it all day long.
Okay. Historical fiction. I'm a fan of Gladiator.
Yeah, not that.
All right. In
Yeah,
classic cinema, Casablanca still makes me get a little weepy at the end. And
it's my dad's
Guys and
favorite
Dolls is a
movie.
musical.
Yeah. I used to love My Fair Lady when I was younger, was like my favorite because I was really into Broadway and just loved that movie. And so every year for Mother's Day, we used to try and find a production of it if we could find one.
Uh, Kids are good to you.
Yeah.
So where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years? What are you going to be doing?
Um, so that is an excellent question. I am at the precipice of going to be an empty nester with some extra time on my hands. I have recently started to train for that as if I were going into a competition or just a new event. And so my training has included expanding some hobbies, which now includes throwing clay on for ceramics. And so I am in the studio a couple of times a week. I'm loving that. So that's kind of fulfilling some creativity that I maybe haven't been able to do deep dives on while the kids were home. And then, finding more opportunities professionally to expand my skill set and just keep learning. I'm very interested right now in aging gracefully with diabetes, as is probably a personal goal and also can be applied to professionally. And so certainly for women's health, going into kind of the next stage of life and learning to or finding ways to age gracefully with type 1 diabetes, because I don't think there's a lot of information about that. I think that sadly, most of the research for a lot of diabetes management is, as we well know, type 2 diabetes, and specifically for women with type 1. So that's definitely something I'm learning about and reading about a little bit more often.
Nothing else, you're a great role model for the aging gracefully part. You're doing really well so far.
We'll see. There's still many decades to go.
Okay. Last question. The day of an actual cure. And I got to preview this by saying a cure means we no longer have to be thinking about our blood sugars. Either it's automatically managed for us or there's some biological cure for it. Our beta cells come back to life, whatever. But the day that you're cured, what are you going to do that day?
Well, do you consider technology a cure? Because I always tell people, like, I don't think we're going to have a cure in the next, I mean, how many years have you've been told you're going to have a cure? I've been waiting, almost 30 years. But I think technology here and now is actually letting us feel like we have a cure. Certainly, I have to wear a continuous glucose monitor. I have to wear an insulin pump, and I have all those things that I have to do with that. But it's pretty darn good compared to how it was 30 years ago when you and I both, started dealing with this. But, what am I going to do on that day? It's probably not a whole lot different than what I'm doing now, because that's my goal, is not to let diabetes stop me in any absolute activity or any food or anything that I want to do. So I would say that if I answered that question any differently, that I would probably have some things I'd want to change, right?
I suppose, yeah. That's a very philosophical way to look at it.
Yeah. I mean, I just think that if I want to do X, Y, and Z, sail around the world or, go sleep in the desert for 12 days. I mean, let's just figure out a way to do it. I don't think that a cure would change my approach to that. I don't think I'm being naive. I think that's just how I approach it.
At least maybe have a party, do something fun.
Oh, you know what I might do? Actually, I might sit down and have a whole bag of gummy worms. I could do that now, but I'd have to kind of think about it. So yeah, I don't know. You're not going to get a great answer from me. I don't know.
Are you going to be in a bubble bath and eat the gummy worms, or just eat them?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's even a lame answer. I don't think I'd have a party either. I think I would just be like,
it's not a lame answer. I got to show you what I've been saving something for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Cereal.
What is the expiration date of that?
Oh, It's not, yeah, it's long expired. September 17th, 2002.
Oh my God.
Homer cinnamon donut cereal. So I'm eating the whole
Yeah.
box. So I don't
Oh,
have to worry
that's
about
what you would do?
Yeah. But wouldn't it be ironic if this stuff kills me and I after
100% it
surviving
would.
40,
Yeah.
50 years with diabetes?
Yeah. 100%.
I could see
You know
that.
what? Actually, I now know the answer to your question. I would get rid of, I have a diabetes cabinet that is full of all my crap. I would clear that out and I would buy something fabulous to fill the space.
Yeah.
Okay, that's now my answer.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe new clothes, maybe food.
Yeah,
whatever.
shoes. It would be
Fill
some
it with
shoes.
shoes. There you go.
Fill it with shoes. Because I mean, we got a lot of crap to carry.
That's Dana Roseman, folks. She is a
Wise words.
genius when it comes to technology, nutrition, fitness, all things diabetes, and a shoe collector.
Yeah.
And a fan of the Dallas Cowboys. Give you
I know.
Yeah, too.
And the Mavericks. You cannot forget the Mavericks after their show.
Yeah. I was rooting for Luca. I'll admit it.
Oh my God. Yes, I know. They just didn't show up. It's okay. We got next year.
They'll be back.
Yeah.
Maybe my Sixers will be there next year to face them. We'll see.
All right. That's just what we need. Another Dallas Philly show off.
Another rivalry
between the two.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for joining us today. And Dana, thank you for your time. On behalf of Think Like a Pancreas, the podcast, I'm Gary Scheiner. Everybody have a great rest of your week.
Thanks. Bye, Gary.